c4. We don't see this move very often, but we'll take the center as if we're playing against any old move. Bring the 2 knights out. Bring the bishop out. And our opponent has played g3, which, yeah, immediately I think knight g4 almost wins the game here. It does a lot of good stuff, knight g4. And I see knight g4 and I'm like, okay, this looks like there could be some options there. Now things could get a little dicey in the position, but knight g4 is going to be a winning move here. Just have to be careful on our next move. We're basically doing the fried liver, which is what we've always tried to avoid the entire Habits series. We made a career out of avoiding this. And this is what I mean. d4, I hope that you wouldn't just assume it's completely over. The reason I say that is if you take with the knight will take, and the queen uncovers the attack on g4. So we need to do a little bit better than that. I think there's a few good options here. Funny enough, even queen f6 comes to mind here, but I think the simplest is probably to just take here in the end, and yeah, maybe try to play d3 afterwards, or knight e5, these kind of moves. So let's see what happens if we take like this. Ooh, I don't know about this. I feel he could get in some serious trouble here. Maybe not. I think this is a rare case where the tactics are going to be more instructive to just see them. So first things first. Okay, knight's going to the side of the board. Just doesn't look like a good move. My bishop's under attack, and a check is the first way that I can see to move in a way that keeps the tempo. And then we've already got a knight out here. At this point, I'm struggling to find a way for my opponent to defend 2 smothered mates at the same time. It's possible, but tricky. Like, if I play knight e5 here, I've got 2 different ways to win the game by smothered mate. I think he can stop it, but I would be curious to know which one he's going to do. So let's give him an opportunity to find a couple good moves. Knight e5. The upside is very high for us, but we're taking on a lot of risk as well here. Knight takes d4 in the center, and definitely well spotted. The guy has dodged. Oh, he could have just taken there probably. That's really unfortunate for him, because I feel like I gave him a test and he passed it. And yeah, could have just taken that way. Okay, the way that he played, unfortunately, he's losing again. But this was not my intention. Yeah, queen takes d2. I thought he did a pretty good job, actually. Okay, queen h5. Our knight's being attacked. Definitely do not like the look of this. I think this is a defense moment. We've had our fun. It's time to, retire, hang up the skates here, and just get my knight out of there, castle, do all the good stuff. Knight's hit, safest square, right back where he came from. This is why it's nice to have habits in your back pocket. Things got a little frisky there. but we're still playing the same old game, same old way. Should be 2. Okay, b3. I think pawn to d5 makes sense. Following our standard habits here, which is, yeah, to control the center. Okay, place that. Probably a bunch of different moves to play here. I wonder which one makes the most sense. Probably just to take back. There's all these other weird moves to play, but I feel like this one's the most natural. We're opening the center. I'm very open to all sorts of trades, queens, knights, etc. Thought he defended very, very well. Takes. Gotta take that. Time to double the rooks in the middle. Bring our king to the middle and maybe offer a trade. This is the game plan. King to the middle, offer a trade. Okay. I'm sure it's a tiresome idea. What can we do? Rook here. Start to push some pawns. We have a pass pawn on both sides. So this is not really, it's not really acceptable to not do well here. I think we want to push this pass pawn and maybe also figure out the pass pawn over here. If we get 2 pass pawns going, it should be impossible to defend, but okay. And we'll see. Okay. Try to get 1 pass pawn. Okay, so we got 1. We need to defend 1. Now we need 2. Little blue skies. Up. Oh, shit. Okay. He happened to play rook rook h6, which was pretty unfortunate. Okay. At some point, I feel like you have to go for a pre-move there. Just have no time, so you know, need to get the pawn going. Right plan, but a little bit unlucky with the execution there. And then I guess it's just a draw after that. Weird opening. Very anti-habits. Very, very strong. Now, you know, white's barely surviving here. Decided to go here. I was like, okay, he's either going to lose the game or he's going to get right back into it. And credit to him, he got right back into it. But he needed to take with the queen here, and then he would actually be almost back on top because all of a sudden our pieces are just fully retreating. But I think he forgot that this knight defends backwards and instead took with the king, and then it got absolutely terrible again. Why not take the rook? Just, we have one piece developed here, and our opponent has, you know, like a king up, pieces ready to develop. If the knight gets taken, then it's 2 knights for the rook. So if I take something in the corner, I have to be sure that it's going to escape. I'm not sure about that, because I'm getting 5 points, I'm losing 3, but I have 3 points that are not mine yet. If that knight was back here, absolutely, I'd love to take it, but the knight's not guaranteed to escape. So I've got 3 points given away, I've got 5 points acquired, but I've also got 3 that are kind of out there in a crypto wallet. Like, I'm not really sure if it's mine, you know? Thanks, Coding Campbell, for the 9 months with Prime. Welcome back in. C5 is hanging a pawn. Queen A5 is hanging the queen. Make sure you're talking about the right position there, Chorzy. All right, I think we got I think we had a pretty good game there. Our opponent turned it into a wild one at the start. It's hard not to play knight g4, though. We've been hit by the fried liver so many times that you just have to. E4, E5. Easy. Knight comes out. Bishop here. Again, not allowing that move, so we're going to play bishop to c5. And would you look at this? This is how level 4 started. And we see it once more. Let's see if we can play the way that we talked about so long ago. So yeah, we're going to take it, and then we're going to bring our bishop back where? To this rather unusual square, e7. What the heck? Our opponent's going to play pawn to d4, and crucially, we're not going to sit here and take it. Instead, I'm going to play this very unusual knight to a5 move. Either white will take the pawn or move the bishop. I mean, there's a few other moves. Maybe you could defend it or something, but okay. Let's take. Knight takes e5. This looks like one of those things that you just kind of have to fall for. So let's move our king. Where should we be moving our king? E8. Okay. No, I can see queen h5. I can see exactly what he's planning here. Very clever, actually. Not only is queen h5 just good with the knight here, but okay, there's also some ideas maybe with my knight hanging. So it definitely makes a bit more sense to me to put the king on f8 so that we can defend queen check by moving our knight out, for example, something like that. So let's move our king here. See how he wants to play. The bad thing is that we can lose this game in a couple moves. The good thing is that we're very quickly going to learn whether we lose this game in a couple moves or not. And even if we do, if we play it again, hopefully we won't. So with mate threatened, I guess knight out to f6 makes the most sense. Okay, let's have a look here. Knight d3. Okay, we see what he's up to here. Like, he wants to bring the pawn to e5 to keep it simple. Now, it's going to be a pin. We're going to lose a knight here. Even if we lose a knight, I don't think we're panicking but we're not trying to lose a knight. We're not trying to lose a knight. Hawk-like vision, yes. The thing about this Evans Gambit line is you're not going to see the Evans Gambit too often. When you do, you're probably going to need to play this line. And when you play this line, your opponent's going to be a bit more familiar than you because, like, you hardly ever play it. You only play it when you see the Evans, and that's, like, never. Now, if I move my king here, I'm really looking at this and thinking, okay, well, where does this knight go? I'm not sure that I really enjoy that. So what happens if we play d6? He goes here. We definitely need to take. And we need to look at the pretty much only option to gain some time here, which is bishop g4. If this doesn't work, I would say we're probably uncomfortable. Queen to g3. Another very good move from the opponent. So now, to top things off, if we move our knight, the guy's going to take our bishop. But maybe if we move our knight and the queen takes the bishop, we could take this. So I'm sitting here like, okay, now this makes some sense. I just have to move my knight to a square where I can still take this knight. Okay. Knight here, and then the queen takes, and we take there. I mean, it sounds good in theory, but strangely, I'm going to need to put my knight on one of these two squares just because queen f4 exists. So I don't think we're in a position that truly makes a lot of sense. Like, sitting here putting my knight on e8, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Don't really like the position. I like being up a piece, but doesn't feel great. Like, this isn't a crushing feeling. Okay, he castles. Surely bishop e2, just end this. Great tactic for us. Nothing wrong with this. Just go ahead and collect this rook. And okay, well, I think we deserve that. I would say we probably deserve that. What about this position was looking like habits? Nothing. Oh my goodness, where am I even going here? E6. I got no queen. It's a endgame. It's an endgame. We can conclude our game here, but you know, it's not looking great. We got castled. May as well snork up here at the buzzer just to let people know I mean business. And the most important part, the analysis. Were we really in trouble this game? I refuse to believe it. But did it look like we were in trouble? Yes. And here's the sad truth. That's exactly the case. We were in trouble. So, yes, your opponent's going to play this move. Yes, they're going to do this. Yes, it looks like you're completely screwed. But why? You're up a piece. You know damn well that the engine's going to tell you you're fine. So the question is whether you can demonstrate that in a game. In this case, we went here. I liked most of our decisions here. And believe it or not, in this position, when we almost disliked it the most, it was completely winning. It wasn't difficult. All that we really ran into was greed. We just didn't need bishop e2. At this point, we had done the hard job. We could save our bishop, start to bring our knight back into the game, maybe get our king to safety, maybe even bring the queen up to blockade. We had done a pretty good job up till here. And then even earlier, after the knight comes here, it didn't make sense to play here, but we just had to remember something. Takes, here, here. Okay, I get it. This is a problem, right? Count the pieces. We only have 2 pieces for the rook, but none of this is actually forced. So the last piece of advice, maybe theory, depends what you want to call it. The last thing that you need to know is, unfortunately, knight a5 is going to provoke bishop f7. Like, most people aren't going to sit here and just allow this to happen. Unfortunately, you're going to see this. And we don't face the Evans too often, maybe like one in every like 150 games, 100 games. Like, it's almost never. When we do face it, of those Evans games, how many people are going to sack their bishop? Like, you know, 1 in every 50 times that it happens, maybe. But if they do, take, knight takes, king here, queen here, g6. This is all completely forced. Knight takes. You really just need to know this one. And I would say that this is the significant move. Because it's definitely easier to look at this position and say, okay, I understand why I'm better here. I get that. And if the queen goes to h4 or something, and we play rook g8, it's also more reasonable for me to look at this position and say, okay, I kind of understand why we're doing well here. Now, it's still going to take some justification, but for the amount of times that I see the Evans, am I interested in playing like all those nasty middle games? Not really. This is the example of like, when I play against the French, I just take the exchange French. I don't work very hard in the French. When I'm playing against the Evans, yeah, I'm working pretty hard here. I can't lie. For the amount of times that I'm going to see it, I'm working very hard. But it's a very dangerous opening. The French is not a very dangerous opening. I can kind of play the exchange, coast a little bit, focus my attention on some of the more dangerous moves and openings that we're going to face. This is one of them. So yes, I would allow bishop takes, I would allow knight takes, and unfortunately, we're going to need to play this. And yes, if you don't play knight f6, you are losing. You are losing. So, you must play it. That's just the truth. If you get here, you're worse. And if you play knight f6, you are going to maintain that extra piece, finally. And what happens if you just play the regular Evans? I think the same thing that happens to you if you think about when the last time you played it was. It's probably going to go the same way. You're going to take. The guy's going to like play queen b3 takes. You're not going to have a way to defend. What happens here? Queen b3, we wanted to play knight h6. Well, that's not possible anymore. This is a huge issue. If the guy plays queen b3 here, we wanted to play knight h6. Well, now we can. So when they played pawn to d4, they're actually creating a big threat here. So you don't really have an option to just take. So that's why we play the knight here. Now, it's not a good move, but people are going to be tempted into it. You can understand the allure. It looks pretty good. Like, looks like a fun game to play, especially in Blitz. Who cares? You just have to be up to task. Finding this move. And, you know, for example, e4 is hanging here. We have d6. We can defend this knight. Bring this knight back. Try to castle this way as quick as possible. So that's all. Unfortunately, an opening that you just need to know an extra thing or two about. We played king f8. Did not know the first time we saw it. But we'll know king e8 for next time. And the whole line is forced, right? So after this, we're just going to kick the knight out unless we see some sort of check, and then that whole line is basically forced. Thank you, Gob. Appreciate the gifted sub. Okay. Not Mr. Anderson, but Anderson Mr. Play this. I will always play d4. Get the bishop out. Castle. Yeah, rook. I'm gonna snork up here. Let's keep aiming towards the center. Okay, knight into the middle. No, we go here. Oh. We have some energy. Knight takes e4. I guess we won't react too much. Let's just keep going here. h3 snorkel comes in with d5. I think we need to keep developing here. c5. I'll put the knight back to its usual square. c4. I guess we only have one square for this bishop. Jesus, bishop c5 just like threats every single move. Let's put the knight on d4. Kind of block the coordination a little bit. Right now, is there a threat? No, it is defended. We can't even play queen here to get the rook over. Jeez, what a tough position. I don't know anything to play here. Next one will be queen e2. This much I know, and then try to get the rook over. We had to safeguard this first. Feels like I haven't even got a chance to breathe here. Queen c7. I don't even know what this move is for. Yeah, rook a d1. Okay, don't really know what this move is all about. Whoa. Queen here. Okay. b3 might be mandatory here. I don't know how else to defend that. Okay, he's going to offer a trade. Can trade as well. We still want to bring the rook in, but we're just going to take care of our captures first. Captures first. Okay. Queen takes. Makes sense. Can just bring all the pieces into the middle. Seems pretty smart. Queen h5. Well, we dodged the majority of the problems, right? We're offering a queen trade. Got our knight in the middle, our rook's in the middle, got an escape square for our king. Here, can double up. And let's offer a trade. Move this knight somewhere. Not sure. I'm just going to go back where we came from. We'll attack that. We want to bring our king. He's activating his king, so you got to give him some credit here. We can defend our pawn. I guess my next, even like 4 or 5 moves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would probably consider. Yeah, I'm still wondering what he's up to here. Are we missing something? Let's continue to bring the king. This is good. I felt like he was a little bit ahead of us with his king, but he's slowed down here. Okay. Well, we can definitely push a pawn. Blue sky's ahead, right? I mean, he's making it too easy. He's making it too easy, and he's gonna resign. What the heck? What just happened there? That was a very strange conclusion to that game. We just want to push the pawn at that point. Yeah, there wasn't much going on here. He got a great start to the opening, but I credit the habits a bit more in this game maybe than some of our other ones recently, just because it helped get us back on track. We had a tough opening, but we just wanted to trade, bring our king in, and pushing the pawn just got us the win immediately. So that was a bit more of the habits. Midlife Gaming, thanks for the 8 months with Prime. Yeah, he was basically playing bullet. I mean, he used 9 seconds. What? It was a 5-minute game. Whew. 9 seconds would have been crazy. I was thinking like this would have been pure disrespect. Can you imagine? Resignation. I can never support that, but he's obviously a quick player, so he was done. Didn't want any more to do with it. Let's go e4. Oh my god, the guy's out immediately with this. Let's. Jeez, everyone is like non-stop here, guys. What the? Like, I don't even recognize things anymore. Let's get our king castled. Yeah, we want to snork up here. Both bishops hitting the center. The rooks are coming to join the middle. Bishop here. Okay. Need to get the pieces over. We could put this rook here because it is on the open file. H6. Let's ask the bishop what's up. And I wonder what now. Maybe the knight into the middle of the board? It's possible. Offer him to trade. Yeah, everyone's playing bullet against me. I definitely thrown off. Okay, we have some trades to make. All right, now this pawn here is definitely a weak pawn. It has a name. It's called a backwards pawn. But yeah, backwards pawn, if it can move, will be pretty effective. So immediately, I can tell that this move is going to be pretty much the best. And based on the pawns here, I have very little interest in trading for his bishop here. Like, almost none. So, yeah, you're not going to see me playing knight takes d7. That's a good example. Have no interest in that. It goes like this. I do, however, have interest in trading queens and rooks, and also for that knight. I want to trade all that stuff, but I just don't want to trade my bishop for his bishop. I don't want to trade my knight for his bishop. None of it. And we can see what's happening here is, the pieces and pawns are starting to operate on dark squares. We're leaving him with this light squared bishop. So that's kind of the plan. Again, I would never consider a move like bishop a6. Just wouldn't it wouldn't fit what we've been saying thus far. Okay, I'm gonna put my pawn on h4. Seems like a crazy move, but I want to do it maybe before he plays g5, so that my pawn doesn't get stuck on a light square. Okay, we see g6. Pawns are really nice. Let's allow my king to get in now. We play f3 just to control some squares, but notice how this pawn is not stuck on a light square. I can always make it to a dark square in the future, so I'm less concerned about this than I would be if I played a4. Terrible move. Black plays a5. I've got a pawn stuck on a light square, so I would never consider that, for example. Okay, let's bring the king in. He wants to trade. I mentioned a few times I am up for trading the knights, but not the bishop. So you won't see me trade for the bishop. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, we'll bring our king over. We've got all the pawns on dark squares. We've got light squared bishops. Another thing that you just won't see me do is trade these bishops. I've said it a few times now. Try to avoid that at all costs. But what I would still like to do is I would still like to trade the rooks. So rook here allows bishop f1, trading the bishops. I'm not interested, really. I have no interest in a move like that. But there's this pawn that I would like to target if possible. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, pawn on a dark square is not going to be particularly difficult for me to do. I think we want to guard this pawn here. And remember, bishop there, have no interest in taking. What I'm desperate to do is I'm desperate to trade rooks with him. I don't know if I can. I don't know if he's going to agree to this. Yeah, rook here can be chased out, so it's not a very permanent rook. How can I actually trade for this rook? I'm not too sure. I just know I want to do it. With all of our pawns on dark squares and this one able to move to a dark square, it feels like we have a good grip on the position. Okay, that's my trade offer. I think he has to take it. And again, nothing's guaranteed, but we can see, like, with everything on dark squares, there's really no way that we should be losing this game. It's impossible, really. We can lose it on time. This is true, but it is actually impossible to lose the game otherwise. So we have a pass pawn here. We can move the bishop out of the way somewhere. Yeah, so just Want to get out of the way. And he's going to go back. Now, it's clear that if we push and push, that he's going to have some way to catch us there. So, might not be the answer. Let's make a waiting move and see what he wants to do first. Okay, goes here. Well, we have a whole other side of the board here that I'm pretty interested in playing on. Very obvious move. I am going to make a fancy move here. Bishop e2. Instead of taking, my opponent pre-moves expecting the capture, so the game just ends. But bishop e2 to take. The double pawns are irrelevant. My one pawn holds them all, and we would just have two outside pass pawns, which would be pretty easy. But it's really not my it's not my opponent's fault. It's the position. The position is not something that you can do anything with. Your pawns are all the same color as the bishop. I mean, it's it's not his fault. Like the game is even. We just had obviously we played a very good positional game, but it's mainly just to show that a single pawn weakness and making sure that you know exactly which piece you don't want to trade off. All I really went with was those two things for the whole game, and we were able to get a good result. So, of course, the moves that we played were not simple, but if the move bishop f5 was played, for example, I think playing the move bishop d1 could be a nice reply. Obviously, him doubling the pawns like that, and we'd have lots of targets. I don't think he'd ever consider it. Same for us. If he's going to offer a draw like this, of course, we would play on by taking. But you get the point. I'm not interested in trading it. I'm very interested in trading rooks. And this one weakness pretty much just decided the entire game. Bishop e4. Yeah, I would probably just decline. Again, we're not interested in taking. That's what I've been saying. Well, if only the bishops are on the board, it's going to be the endgame that we just had, where every single pawn that black has is a pawn I can attack, and every single pawn I have is a pawn he can't attack. So it's just the most risk-free endgame. So if I have the rooks on the board, okay, I can attack some of his pawns, but he can also attack some of mine. It's not a one-way street. If it's a bishop endgame, it's a one-way street. I literally can't lose the game. Like I said, I can flag it, but once we traded the rooks, it's just impossible. Like, I could sit here and dance in circles with my bishop, and he could never make a threat the entire game. The Clorp. GG. Thanks for playing. Obviously, you must have known the series or recognized the name. Sorry that we had to take you out like that, buddy. It was a reasonably instructive game in the end that was created out of this one. Mainly just the pawns ending up all on light squares with a light squared bishop was not the right way to do things. So hopefully something to learn from on your end as well. Thought you'd blunder some tactic. Hey, it's always possible, but we played a pretty symmetrical position. There wasn't too much going on, and the series I wouldn't say is focused on playing the most insane positions, like tactical positions. Knight takes c4 is possible, Murray Kelly. Yeah, I think that would definitely be the right move, but oftentimes it leads to tactics. I just thought we would get in there and try to get some trades going. After the rook trade, Pandas, it's
it is winning. There's no way around it. Definitely yes. Okay, let's continue. D4, go D5, and again, just try not to accept these scary gambits at this point. Keep it simple, unpin ourselves. Maybe check to see what that bishop's doing. And again, once we get here, and we're usually doing this stuff. He's not taking, so our bishop has nowhere to go, so we kind of have to put it somewhere. We want to play, yeah, bishop here. Knight just to d7 and not c6. And whoa. Well, I don't know what's going to happen after this move, but I do know that the move c5 makes a lot of sense as a response. So let's play that and just see what happens, because I feel like this could get pretty scary. Let's take rook into the middle. Like, pretty much has to be a playable move at least. And now the questions are here. We've like opened up the center, got our piece, feels like where we want it. What else can we do? The knight on d7 doesn't have a lot of moves. It's just kind of sitting there. Don't see any improvement to that knight. Basically, this is the only square on the board. This bishop doesn't really have anywhere to move right now. I would say rook c8 in general makes a lot of sense. It's like a good looking move. But the question is just, you know, how scary is something like this if we just go ahead and take it? I don't really know, actually. So we're going to play it and find out. Yeah, this is very scary. I think goes without saying we can't play king h8. Bishop is attacked. We gotta move this thing to safety. Can we go here? Bishop, bishop, bishop. Can stay here. Bring the knight to f6. That makes a little bit of sense. Okay, it goes queen here. It's hard for me not to play knight f6. It was the move we were going to play anyway, and kind of forks the pieces there. Bishop h6 also blocks the h file. Okay, we can take this. Still under attack, so I can't say that it feels like we're safe at all. Always scary. Great move. Definitely how I would continue if I had the attack. Hard not to play that move, to be honest. Well, I'd love to trade pieces, but at the moment it's not just about that, it's about queen takes f7. So very much not easy to react to. Man, this is not an easy position to play. My queen only has a couple options because I have to defend that. I'll put a piece in the center. I'm not too sure what we should be doing here next. Rookie 1. Maybe we can double. Just putting all the pieces near the king, so like hopefully something good happens. Oh, I was gonna play this one, but I guess he's threatening something. Obviously we can't quite take. But my snork, I can't be parting with the snork. Oh, bishop f5 here. It's just not a good way around this. I guess we go here. This guy's just not even, he's a spectator. It's not even here. I don't know, guys. I got nothing here. Not the snork. This looks pretty tough. I mean, I still can't really move the knight because of this. Yeah. What do we even... What's my next move even? I don't know. This? But I don't even think that... I'm pinned twice now. I don't even have a move. Knight fucking... What the... Fucking A. Oh my goodness. I mean, well, what do you want from me here? Dude. Oof. I'm just getting smoked here. Dude, this was a convincing attack, right? Start to finish. It wasn't that it always worked or always didn't. It was... He was on the attack. So we can sit here and definitely just say that rook takes h6 and knight e5. At least the guy's... He's continuing. He was always working, always attacking. Rook e3, like... Man. I don't even know how to improve the game. It felt like we were trying to keep the pieces central, trying to deal with the threats when he was making them, but I didn't really have a move because this pin here was pretty nasty. Nice attack. And I think we knew it was a nice attack ever since we saw this. This was never what we wanted. You'll lose this position, JT. Well, hey, you and I are the same. JT Foxy, 32 months with Prime. Doesn't matter when that reset came in. You and I are the same. Yeah, unfortunately, the engine doesn't really help. I mean, the engine could say we're better, but, you know, it's kind of like that Evans Gambit game. At least in the Evans Gambit, it was in the opening, so those are moves we can maybe memorize a bit easier. It's kind of like forced, but this was just smack in the middle game. No way anyone prepares to end up here. You just kind of end up here. So defense is always going to be brutal in those ones. Munjaha. Play e4. Oh, this is our... Put the game in cruise control here. Okay, yep, everyone, we're in cruise control here. Okay, not just going to take right away. Remember, we go with c3, knight d2, slightly better than knight c3, for example. C5, okay, I will take. Curious to see what happens. And again, not the most bothered by knight takes here. So maybe we can find a way to make this work. The issue is I can't really bring my knight where it needs to go until I deal with this bishop. So I feel like I kind of have to go here. Knight to e4. Okay, let's bring our knight. Queen b6. It's weird because now there's no pin. So if we take there, the knight's just going to move and our bishop feels a bit silly there. The worst that you can do is like go pin a knight and then the knight just moves away and your bishop's like, what the hell am I even doing here? So because of that, I basically feel that I have to take. Now we have a... like a hanging pawn. I mean, your rook b1 is a bit strange. Let's focus on this pawn here. Knight in front of it, and maybe the other knight to support. The queen also. I think everything I have should be basically supporting this knight on d4. If possible. Because that feels like... oh, what's this? I thought that he couldn't do this because we take this pawn, but we may be misinformed. The thing is, I mean, it doesn't really make sense. 94, take it. It's in the center of the board. It looks like a free pawn. We just have to engage our hawk-like vision. Obviously, we go for a trade here. And then just a classic trademark fork. You know, just like your grandma would do back in the day. The old traditional Queen A4. A tough spot to be in, mainly because you're forked, and obviously it would be a rook for a rook here, more like a trade, but then you're forked again. You're forked on forked. This is a tough one. He is going to take it. I truly think he made the right choice there, because there was no other option, and he worked through that. And I don't think you can be upset with the decision that he came to here, especially because it's not 100% clear what we do next. I think we're going to take this pawn. We got our snorkel here. Okay, use that. Just continue to take everything. Queen into the center here. I'm trying to keep everything protected. It's not easy. Okay. Trying to keep our king safe. Queen on e3 looks like it will. That's like a, yeah, that's a solid square. That's a safe square. Remember, he has a light squared bishop, so being on dark squares will feel pretty good. However, we clearly need to do something here. Like I need to like take this bishop, for example. Like what are we gonna do about that? Knight here, but okay. Okay, I see it. Are we making we're making a draw here, buddy? Is that what's going on? Well, I guess we're gonna have to block with something. There are many things to block with. I'm really not interested in moving the pawns if I don't have to, so trying to avoid that. Okay, we have a fork here. Would have been satisfied with just trading the pieces, but in this one we actually managed to win it. Okay, can bring the knight back to a more normal square. Can we trade pieces? This is an invitation for this move. An invitation. It's a good thing he's playing on, that's for sure. Especially knights are a little bit unreliable. Stay central. Don't really know what to do with these things. Can lock everything down. Yeah, here we go. Just have to collect all these pawns here. Let's continue. Ah, very good technique from the opponent, not taking the knights. So the first thing we're going to do is take our damn knights, get them way the heck out of there. Because we don't need the knight. We know how to do it with just the king and the queen. So it's very important not to use the knight. I think that the knight could cause us some trouble. Okay, so we want to get to the important square, which is this one here. And just the knight's irrelevant. It's not really part of the checkmate. So not only do we not need it, but we don't want it. It's not just that we don't need it to do it. Oh, I'm better than that. It's actually worse if you have it. So like, don't even bother. I don't need any of those 2 knights. Keep it simple. Imagine you tried to checkmate with a queen and 2 knights. You would be like, you wouldn't have a clue what's going on. It's not easier for anyone. It's not like the best player in the world can use 2 knights and a queen better than a queen. A queen is just simple. It's all you need. Precisely, Penny. Precisely. Let's continue. Thank you, Gospodin. That's 5 subs. And Corleone, thanks for the 66 with Prime. Thank you for the 5 gifty. We're almost there. We need a tight circle for this one. 19 in sight. Okay. Yeah, we do match that. Then we bring the knight out. The bishop. We don't mind taking that. E6. Oh. Well, that's a little annoying, isn't it? Okay, we'll just ignore that. Hang on a sec. So he's not defending the... sorry, he's not taking the pawn. I wonder why. I wonder why. I think I'm just going to keep it then. I think we're just going to keep it, guys. Okay. This one to just repel the queen and... Okay. Now at least we can get back to our habits like taking, like knight e4. He's just going to trade. Let's take that. Simple. Castle. I think this is all we're looking to do here. Okay, hang on a sec, pal. What's this all about? What's this all about? Huh? I'm snorking up. What have you got? What do you got for us? Okay, this guy's bringing all the firepower over here. We need to answer. What's happening? This is concerning. This is not easy. This is not easy. Something I hope to leave everyone with, you know, prior to maybe 2000, prior to the end of the series, is how much more comfortable it feels defending when your f-pawn is moved up, either to f6 or f5. Like, even f5 here would make me feel a lot more at home. We could say f6. You know, you get to trade. I get it. f6, probably a bit of a better move here. But even f5, it's just, not only does it kill this diagonal, but it gives you an escape square to run away. Almost everything about it is pretty good. So even though this is going to be a pretty serious attack here, watch how, in my opinion, easy it's going to be to defend. So let's bring this pawn up here. And at this point, I'm just bringing pieces over. I think the attack is over. I really do. Bring our rook to the middle, sure. I think the attack is over. He's got 2 rooks, but like, that's it. What's he up to, really? Okay, bishop to c3. I'm definitely going to take because... maybe I made him or something. I don't know. Okay. Who's on the attack here? Who is on the attack here? Let's go like this. If you're at a lower habits level, good. Don't touch the F pawn. It's not for you. We've moved multiple pawns in front of the king. But I feel as this series comes closer to an end that, you know, I'd like to leave you with another big helpful tip for defending, because people who just kind of attack like this always deserve to lose. That's the rule. Okay, well, we can go here. Obviously, a trade is very appreciated. We can double the rooks, and would you believe it? Habitual has done it again. Pawns on the correct color for that bishop. How the hell does he keep doing it? Ladies and gentlemen, Habitual is yet again unstoppable. How does he always have the correct color pawns? How does he do it? Okay, we're starting to advance some pawns here. Notice how, you know, we're still going to be conscious of keeping the pawns on light squares. But this c-pawn is not permanently stuck on a dark square. We can always play c4 later. For now, though, I like that it's controlling that bishop pretty well. It looks like the guy he's all in on sort of undoing the rooks from those two squares, right? h3, g3. So let's make an all-time funny move. Rook h1. Okay, now your rook is stuck. I don't know. That's all I've got. Just that the rook was stuck. I thought that you might enjoy that. That was it. That was the idea. That's it. That's the move. Now, you might be saying, wait, both rooks are stuck. But that's okay. If they're both stuck, then it's like they're traded off the board. We want to trade the rook off the board. So this is a good thing. I'm thinking this one. We can also maybe continue like that. I like. We want to bring the bishop here, and our king has nice access to the center of the board. Well, we'll happily take. Happily, I said. Rook here. Very nice move from our clever opponent. Let's see. Try to take something here. Well, the rook escaped. You have to credit the opponent for doing that. If you leave the rook there, there's no hope. Like, position just can't be good. Now this pawn is attacked. I don't really see a way that we can defend that, so we'll just have to let that one go as well. Also, this is defended. Don't really see what we can do about that. I'm just gonna let that one go. Well, not experiencing a ton of success from these these situations. Bishop's just holding everything. What the fucking flying hell, man? So pre-move this. This is a safe move, right? Yeah, because it's on a light square. Okay, we got a motor here. Oh god, he hung his rook, dude. Okay. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about right there. The habits coming in clutch. At some point, you just gotta throw caution to the wind and just pre-move. There we go. Now, with apologies, no, I don't call out raids during those segments. Feels bad, man. So we can call it out now. Sorry, everybody. Welcome in. The same applies to anybody. You know, someone during the game says, hey, man, I'll give you $10,000 if you reply to this comment right now before the game ends. Sorry, bud. That's $10,000 I can't make. Nothing supersedes the integrity of the Habits series. So, not even Frank, but Froink. Thank you for the 45 viewer raid. Appreciate it, man. We are doing more of the Habits series right now, which is a series that was pretty popular in terms of beginner improvement in chess a long time ago. 4 years now. And we're bringing it back 4 years later. See if we can still improve the exact same way, using the exact same habits, but better as well. We've even improved some, I think. Made it simpler. So thank you, Frank, and welcome in, everyone. We hit 1900, so you came at a great time. We can celebrate together. We hit 1900. The series will wrap up probably at 2000 if we can hit it this week. We're going to leave it there for now.